Helen, welcome to the program. I'm Teniola Shubowale. We begin with updates of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. A British man, Paul Ure, who was captured by Russian-backed separatists in Ukraine, has died in detention. The Presidium Network, an aid group which has been helping his relatives, say the 45-year-old's family were contacted by the UK Foreign Office. The UK says it's seeking urgent clarification from Ukraine and the Russian government on reports of the British aid worker's death. Mr. Ure was detained in the self-proclaimed Donetsk People's Republic in April and accused of being a mercenary. He was taken prisoner along with another man, Dylan Healy, while reportedly trying to conduct a humanitarian rescue mission on the 25th of April.
We have no evidence of his background within terms of the military side of things. He was never within the military capacity, especially in Ukraine. And he was, when they were detained, they were unarmed. They had civilian clothing on. And there is no evidence that we can see and from the family that he had any real military background with and was just there as a volunteer. The fact that he was helping with evacuations unarmed, there was no way he would have been anywhere near mercenary activity, let alone military. What we do know is that through an informal Facebook group, he was basically asked with Dylan Healy to help evacuate a lady and child south of Zaporozhye who had been allowed to come to the UK. But basically it was in the Russian territory. They still went over, and we know they were captured at the first Russian checkpoint in that area. And we've known that they've been detained since the early hours of the morning on the 25th of April. Yes, there's been reports from both the family and from the government in the past that they were putting some pressure on, and especially looking at some prisoner swaps and really increasing that pressure. And they've been doing this for some time with other captives as well. So yeah, they are really using these personnels as political pawns within this conflict, which is absolutely disgraceful, and we can completely condemn that as well.
In other developments, authorities are still looking for nearly 20 people missing in Vinnytsia after a missile hit an office building on Thursday morning. The death toll has gone to 23, including 3 children. At least 71 people, also including children, have been hospitalized, and 117 have applied for medical help. The missiles hit an office block and damaged nearby residential buildings, causing a huge blaze which spread to a car park and set vehicles alight. Ukraine says Moscow has intensified missile attacks far from the front line and that it has deliberately hit civilian sites, while Russian forces have been grinding out gains on the battlefield in the east, pummeling urban areas with artillery.
Just now we have 21 dead and more than 90 injured people here. All people are civilian people. We have information about 43 people which missing, but we understand that part of them in hospital now, and part of them is dead, unfortunately.
The Ukrainian president has addressed an international conference aimed at persecuting war crimes committed in Ukraine, telling them Russian missiles hit 2 community facilities in the west, killing at least 20 people and injuring many more. At least 40 European judicial authorities were at the meeting, where they agreed to coordinate investigations into atrocities during Russia's invasion of Ukraine, as the size of their task was highlighted by fresh attacks on civilians far from the war's front lines. 45 countries were represented at the conference holding in The Hague, and they all signed a political declaration to work together on investigations. Officials say that with more than 20,000 war crimes investigations open in different countries heading teams, evidence needs to be credible and organized.
Сьогодні вранці російські ракети вдарили по нашому місту Вінниця.
Today, in the morning, Russian missiles hit the city of Vinnytsia, an ordinary peaceful city Cruise missiles hit 2 community facilities. Houses were destroyed. A medical center was destroyed. Cars and trams were on fire. This is an act of Russian terror. These are not people. These are bastards who have done it. So 2 cruise missiles hit the city center. 20 people died as of now, including 3 children. And there's a huge number of wounded people. I would like you to observe a minute of silence for all the people who got killed between 2014 and today. All those who were murdered by Russia on Ukrainian soil and in our Ukrainian sky.
На нашій українській землі та українському небі.
Meanwhile, Ukraine's top war crimes prosecutor and European judicial authorities have met to coordinate investigations into atrocities during Russia's invasion of Ukraine, warning that a failure to do so would embolden autocrats. Officials say with more than 20,000 war crimes investigations open and different countries' head-on teams, evidence needs to be credible and organized. ICC prosecutor Karim Khan says children, women and men are living in terror, suffering in Ukraine and in so many different parts of the world. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba also reiterated his country's call for establishment for a special tribunal for Russia's actions in Ukraine.
Just like a climate strategy and a COVID strategy, we need an accountability strategy. A strategy driven by the universal belief that all of us are protected by law, ensuring that all roads lead to justice now and in the future.
That as we speak, children, women and men, the young and the old, are living in terror. They're suffering in Ukraine and in so many different parts of the world, grieving about what they lost yesterday, holding their breath about what they could lose today and what tomorrow can bring. At a time like this, the law cannot be a spectator. The law cannot recline in comfort in The Hague or anywhere else for that matter, when it's meant to protect and uphold certain principles that are essential for humanity.
Ukraine calls on the establishment of a special tribunal which would have a specific jurisdiction over the crime of aggression against Ukraine. We have heard a number of reservations since the idea first floated in the early March. Most of them express concern that this effort could replace existing international courts and tribunals, thus weakening them. I want to clearly reiterate, we do not have any such intention, and this will not be the outcome of our effort. In fact, we have always been working closely with all international courts and tribunals, and in particular, the ICC.
Coordination, it's an important word because we have to work not only for the next months, the next years, but maybe the next decades. And we will continue to do that to bring all the perpetrators of atrocities in Ukraine to justice.